Hey, this is the World Advice Channel. What I want to talk about right now is, of course, the topic of what if we had a one world government part 2. So for this video, I'm going to explain what would happen if we had a one world government part 2. Now this side will cover the more negative aspect of it, so you will have a better understanding of the topic, without, of course, as I said the last time, without giving a biased perspective. So you can kind of realize, like, would this actually make sense, or would it be better off to just kind of not do it? Is something you can clearly, as the viewer, be able to figure out yourself. So anyway, now that I've said that, now let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of what would happen if we had a one world government, as I said, I was going to discuss the negative side. The first thing I want to mention, if we had a one world government, which a lot of people think would be a great thing, because we would have less war and this and that and be united. The truth of the matter is, like a lot of things in life, you tend to realize it's not as pretty as you would imagine. Now, the first thing that obviously happened if we had a one world government is that obviously the first thing that would happen is that there would be rebellions. Well, not necessarily rebellions, but like, well, not necessarily that, but like, there would obviously be financial crisis, no matter what I want to use. So if you obviously have a financial crisis, just like look at how terrible the 2008 financial crisis and the financial crisis we're going through because of COVID was, can you imagine how bad it would be when we live in a world where literally every country in the world has the same currency in some way, shape, or form? Well, not even in some way, shape, or form, just literally the same currency, just like how Europe at one point had a euro. Now, what happens when you have a world that literally has the same one main currency? What would happen if, of course, there would be a financial crisis? Now we're in a world of shit, We see a financial crisis, and obviously, based on that financial crisis, in all honesty, there would obviously be a financial crisis, in all honesty. Of course, all the recessions we've had in the past that we thought were bad, now this would make it look like a freaking joke. Okay, so if there would be a financial crisis, it would be something like you've never seen boy before. And it just like how in America they had issues and stuff during the 2008, a lot of people lost their jobs, and a lot of people committed suicide and so on and so forth. Now we're having it on a world scale, so the whole world would be affected. Okay, so that's the truth of the matter. Okay, so that's the first thing I mentioned what would happen if we had a one world government. The recessions, if we had one, would be even worse than anything you've ever imagined. The second thing also to keep in mind, what if we actually had a one world government, is just down to the fact, what if we had a tyrannical leader? If we had a tyrannical leader, boy, I'm gonna tell you something, man. That person will let the power get to their head like nothing you've ever seen before in your entire life, man. That person would go completely insane. History shows that even when people get a bit of relevance in terms of empire, like for example, some of the Roman emperors in the past, they went crazy. And this is just for a region of the world, okay? Even with their primitive knowledge, they, at the time, you clearly saw how crazy some of them went, okay? Now put it in a situation where the whole world is affected, where the whole world is under their control. So whoever be the leader of it, and obviously it'll be a pawn, but anyway, you get the point, okay? Whether it could be so-called fake leader, be playing hypothetical, like he's actually has power, or a group of people behind him, whatever. The truth of the matter is, the power for that individual, or individuals for that matter, would go to their head. They would completely go mad. Besides, the end of their control, they're in control of the whole world. Like, where are you gonna go? Where are you not gonna go? There's nowhere you can go. And if you control all of humanity, there's nothing that could say, I have power more than anything else like that. So their power would go to their freaking head like nothing you've ever seen before. So there'd be a lot of issues as a result of that. Because where else are you gonna go? What, outer space? That'll take some time to develop. So you can keep that in your mind. So that's the second thing to say. The third thing to add to that, when it comes to what would happen if we had a one world government, obviously talking about, you know, the negative side, the more negative side of things, to be quite honest with you. As I said, I was going to do for this video. The third thing that also happened if we had a one world government is that when it comes to any particular issue going on in the world, it would affect everyone, whether it could be a disease or even like something like an online scam or something, you know, like online fraudsters or something, or this and that. It would affect the whole world in some way, shape, or form like nothing you've ever seen, boy. I'm gonna tell you that for a fact, okay? Because obviously it's easier if there's one government for people to travel across the world anywhere they want to go. So if you spread a disease, you know, from contacting something, let's just say in the region of what was once China, now it's going to spread to different parts of the world easier than anything you've ever imagined before. So a lot of people would get killed that way. Or it could be something like some scam or something, like online scam or something that literally screws up a huge amount of people and fuck up a lot of people online or something. It would screw up a lot of things, and it would definitely screw up a lot of things. And because it's one world government, you can't really prevent people from really stopping something, whether it's a fraudster, a disease, or even fraud, you know, or a rebellion or something, or a rebellious group, or even criminals, whatever. They can go around the world more easier than they've ever had in the history of the world. So there's no borders. You can just randomly, probably, if anything, even if they have flying ships at the time, flying spaceships. Well, not even flying spaceships, but like just flying cars for that matter. You know, they can fly from America all the way to Jamaica, and Jamaica all the way to Mexico or something. Or at least what we consider today those nations, and not really have to worry about, you know, obviously being stopped, because at the end of the day, it's the same one government. You know, there's no borders or anything, so shit would spread like crazy, like nothing you ever seen before. And the fourth and last point that also definitely makes you wonder if it's a good idea is obviously it would encourage extreme stagnation, as there wouldn't be much need for a nation to compete against each other anymore. If there's not as much of a nation, then it would create stagnation in terms of knowledge and wisdom, as since there's no one to compete against, where's the competition? Even corporations, it's like, well, you know, well, we still have big corporations, which sounds like something kind of very reminiscent of a cyberpunk theme, you know, like, oh, the big corporations control the world and all that type of shit and all that type of stuff, you know, but yeah, that type of stuff. But even then, with corporations are helpful, obviously, would compete against each other, but even then they can only do so much. You know, if you have a government, it's more easier for you to get more funding and a lot of shit and all that type of stuff. So if you don't have that type of stuff, you know, what exactly is going to happen to the nation? You know, nations encourage it on a huger basis, encourage competition. You know, they encourage competition, whether it can be development of medicine, technology, you know, things we could use for space travel, even whatever you could personally imagine. Nations encourage, as I'm certain you already know, encourage competition. Okay, if you don't have that anymore, then what do you really have? Just big corporations. Big corporations are more fueled by money. They're not fueled by ideology like a nation would. So obviously the quality, even with that whole competitive edge, we have different corporations, wouldn't be as strong. as if you have different nations competing. So the world would stagnate definitely a bit. So that's really the truth of the matter. And this is why I believe it's a bad idea. Well, not even a bad idea. I'm not gonna go to my personal opinion about it. But you get the point. Like, that would happen if we had a one world government. So if you're interested in knowing about that particular thing, what would happen if we had a one world government, that is exactly what would happen. And anyway, this is my video. Remember to sum this video up and hit the subscribe button if you liked it. And this is off the sin. Simply put it, later.